is the last breakout session. However, I do want to emphasize this is not your last opportunity to engage with us and share your ideas today. Please come back to Francis at 4. We're going to talk about your ideas, some of the next steps, and we are going to open the floor for more additional items because we know you only get a short period of time with each one. So we're going to give you an opportunity to share and also vote verbally, and also to write them down on Post-it and put them up so that way we can collect them going forward. So I do just want to strongly emphasize that. As I am introducing Kim and Ann, I am going to pass around a piece of paper. If you would just give us your name, your email address. We have heard, one of the common things that we have heard is that people or alumni are interested in starting up these regional groups. Okay, so that way, if you are traveling to somewhere in North Carolina, give me Raleigh, and you want to be able to meet up with people, with other alumni in Raleigh, we can put you in contact with somebody there who says, yes, you know, I'm here, we have a group of people, let's get together and have a drink. Or if you're moving to a new area and making that connection there. So if you're interested, just put the word yes and give us your location, and that will tell us what we need to know. So I'm going to pass this around. Well, I want to go that way with it. Yeah, oh, and your class year too, that would be great. Okay, so Kim Hutto is the Director of Alumni Engagement, and she manages all alumni relations activities, including working with the Alumni Association Board of Directors, and serving as a liaison to the Advisory Board of Visitors. She's previously served as Director of Alumni Career Services at Oregon State University, where she led engagement activities with a focus on job search strategies, career transitions, and long-term career development. She's also worked at James Madison University as Director of Alumni Relations and Executive Director of the Alumni Association, and also at Middle Tennessee State University as Associate Director of Alumni Relations. We also have Ann Holland, who graduated from Mary Baldwin in '88 with a major in history and a minor in Asian studies. She was a fundraiser for 5 years here at Mary Baldwin. She's been working here since July of '89, and she's currently the Director of Alumni Events. And I also want to introduce Angela Klein, who is the Office Manager. So I'm going to open it up and let Kim talk about what her office does, where they need help, and then we are going to open it up to you to hear what your ideas are and where you would like to see more engagement, how you would like us to see that engagement happen too. All right.
Thank you all. I just want to again say thank you for coming. Thanks for sharing your ideas. I hope this will be an open forum so that you can tell us what you'd like to happen and how we can work together to make it happen. So our office is an office of 3, as Teresa told you. So we are, our office does everything from updating information, alumni information. We have some update cards here too, showing you where to go to update your information online. You can also call us if you, some people have said they haven't gotten some of the information. We do send out emails too, so if you haven't gotten emails, please check to make sure it's not in your spam. If you hear from others that they got an email and you didn't, let us know. Contact our office. We'll certainly update that because we want you to get communication from our office. We have a database of about 16,000 living alumni. Angela, who's holding her cute little granddaughter over there, updates the information whenever we get that in our office. So that's one role of our office. Our main role is to make sure that we have you connected to Mary Baldwin for a lifelong connection. And that's what we would like from you. And the reason is that you're giving back. It's all about students. That's why I'm here. That's why I do the job I do, because I value the education that I received. And I want to give back and allow us first-generation college students, and several Mary Baldwin students here now are as well. I value the education that I got. I want to give that back. And alumni, that's what you're doing. I've heard over and over today and through the past several months, as well as since I've been here, about your Mary Baldwin experience, and it's the same I can tell you from now as people I met that graduated 50 or more years ago. and that's why you're passionate about your school, and you want to give back to it and continue that spirit that you've had as a student with current students. So I want to facilitate that to happen too, and this is why we're here, and how can we move forward for, oh, that's okay, come on in. How can we move forward toward a common, common goal? And I think that's, come on in, why we're all here. So I'd like to hear your ideas, but I also want to tell you that our office has events in other regions, and that's why we're asking your help. We're using volunteers to reach out where we can't. So if you live in areas all over the country or world, we'd like to engage you to be able to have events in your area, or to be the connectors through students that might be graduating and moving to your area or looking for jobs in your area. So that's what that piece of paper going around is. If you would like to be a volunteer in your region, where we can share your information on our website so that people know where to go when they're looking for events or people to contact. So please help us to do that. So we do events on campus, off campus. I hope that you all received the 175th Homecoming Save the Date card. We've just completed the schedule on that. It will be online.
It is.
It is online.
Now, yeah. It went online Friday. We were hoping. Yeah, Morgan did it.
I did it. It was online.
Morgan did it on Friday for us. And so I could ask you please to go there. We will be mailing, it's at the printer right now, your 175th All Alumni Homecoming brochure. So we would also like for you to invite your classmates to come back on campus and be involved in that homecoming celebration. This is really a big celebration, 175 years. When I talk to other schools, they're like, wow, Mary Baldwin, 175 years. It's really an accomplishment, and we need to celebrate it together. So I would welcome it if you could just reach out and tell others and your classmates and ask them to come back. Also, for this 175th year, we would like you to be engaged in some community service projects in your area. I've put together sort of a guideline for community service project volunteers. So if you're interested in that, would you also please let us know on the paper. So you may already be involved helping out in your community. This is just a way to do it in the name of Mary Baldwin, and to engage Mary Baldwin alums to also participate. Students do it here every day. It's amazing how many of our students are involved with community service. And so I think it also sends a message if alumni do it as well, and shows that sense of community with Mary Baldwin. There's other ways to be connected. As some of you probably attended the admissions session. So the Bravo group, where you can help to recruit students for Mary Baldwin College for Women. And I encourage you to do that. They're having training sessions and so forth. And I appreciate it if you'd sign up for that if you're comfortable going to schools or working with a counselor to go to a college fair. So that's another way that you can get engaged. We've done in the last few years a community day of service. I'm good, Catherine, because I know you did a lot for that too. If you can encourage people to participate in the community day of giving, there's been friendly competitions. People donate in honor of professors I've seen, and I think it's a really nice spirit. We're going to be doing that again in April. So we'd love for you to be involved with that. There are ways to give back. Some of you probably have gone to the College to Career session. So we're always looking for ways, how can you engage students? Internships, job shadowing, even sharing your expertise with students. We do currently have a LinkedIn group, and that you can join if you're a student or an alum, and this is a way to connect the two. There hasn't been a lot of activity on there recently. I encourage you to get involved and post there if you have jobs in your companies or internship opportunities, so that students go there as well and can see those connections. So some of the things that also have been for the past 2 sessions that have come out, I'd like to talk to you about, and maybe you can build on those ideas or share your own, is that we were told that people would like to have a directory, an alumni directory, like an online directory. Right now we have, I think it's come up before with the confidentiality, and we do not give out your alumni information. We don't give out your contact information unless we contact you and the other person and say, is it okay if we give this person your contact information? So we make sure it's okay on both sides before we share information.
We used to farm that out. And a private company would call us and then we would buy it from them years ago.
Yeah, there
The
was a
books.
printed alumni directory. Yeah, and
We
there's,
authorized it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like an opt-in or opt-out situation. And so that's been brought up of having an online alumni directory where you can opt in, opt out, have like a password protected. So that way, it's not us saying, giving the permissions, it's already, you know, kind of takes it off of our staff and puts it onto your hands of whether you give the permission or not. We don't have that currently, and that's something that requires, you know, money to purchase that system, alumni directory, online alumni directory. So that's an idea that has come up in the other two sessions as something that we could do going forward. The other is to have sort of a one-stop shop, and I'm looking at Morgan, who's our web master person here, having a kind of a one-stop shop where people share what their expertise is, what they'd like to do, and then have where, you know, professor might need, I'm looking at Martha, professor might need a speaker in their class, or a club might need somebody to speak at their organization club, as a place that they can go to find you. So we're working out how that could be managed. Again, everything we do in our office, I have to think about resources, you know, financial resources is in the budget, and also resources in terms of staffing too. So this is another piece of how can we make this happen where people can share what they'd like to do, and then, you know, throughout the campus, people know where to go to get that information and contact. So that's a piece we haven't figured out yet, but that's has come up in the last couple of sessions. So I welcome your ideas, and let us know, you know, right now if you have questions for us, or you'd like to say what, you know, what you'd like to see happen. Sometimes, just to let you know, when we do events in other areas, when it's sponsored by us, we will send out the email invitations for you. Sometimes we do email, and then those that don't have email, we send out by mail, snail mail. We will do the RSVPs and share that information with you, name tags, all that sort of thing that we'll help with in our office. We have even a sort of a kit, a planning kit on how to do that. So we will share that with you as well. So if you all have questions, thoughts, sometimes I was going to mention that if we do an event in your town, we often have to reach out to the facility to make sure, like they have a liquor license, like liabilities. We have a risk management department that we, or one man, that we talk to about these sorts of things, that we have to make sure that we're, you know, covering with our liabilities. So sometimes we may have to contact the facility for you on that. So.
And the other thing we ask is, please don't sign any contracts unless you want to be liable for them. And I hate to say it that way, but a lot of contracts come with cost involved, certainly. So we just ask that you filter the contracts through Mary Baldwin. We can't even sign contracts. We have to get Dave Van Moen, whom you all met this morning, to sign all of our contracts. And the other thing is that if we call and ask you if you have homeowners insurance, we're not trying to get in your business, because I don't want to get into your business, but I just want to make sure that you know from the beginning part that we just need to make sure that Mary Baldwin is covered and you all are covered too. So there may be some questions that we have to ask you, and I'm certainly not going to get into your business, but we have to just make sure all of our bases are covered too. So just we want to disclose the things that we're asking, so you don't think that, you know, we have a hidden agenda somewhere in here, but we just need to cover all of our bases too. And as far as liability is concerned too, that we have the good fortune that the risk management person just works around the corner from us, and there are many questions that come up that he said, you know, we've never had this amount of questions ever asked to any insurance company ever, because we want to make sure that Mary Baldwin is covered and that you all are covered too, because it's too late once something happens. So just, if we ask you a lot of questions, we're partnering with you because we want to be all safe. So just wanted to let you know.
And I will tell you, you know, I've heard also, and I, you know, apologize, because a few people said they contacted our office, volunteered to do things, and nothing's happened. And that shouldn't happen. That's not what our intentions are. And I can tell you, we come to work every day with the intention, good intentions, all of us. I mean, we're all in this together and trying to do what we can. And sometimes things slip through the cracks, and you know, sometimes we get focus on so many things. So I want to tell you that is not our intention. If that happens, please, continue to, let us know, or how can we be, that's why we're thinking, how can we make this a better path to be able to share what you're willing to do for us in a different manner where others can see it through possibly the website.
So I have a question, do you have like a standard SOP that people follow if they volunteer to like have, for example, I volunteered to have a fundraiser in my home. So is there something that you could email me and say, okay, this is kind of lessons learned, this would be your starting point? Do I come to you for email addresses for people in the DC area to, like, how does that work? Can you walk me through that real quick?
Thank you. And I haven't done the fundraising piece of it, so I have
Well,
to.
I mean, let's just say it's like
event.
an alumni
Yeah.
event.
Right.
Like, we don't
So
have to
we
call
have-
it a fundraiser, but you can't show up if you
So
don't have a
we have
checkbook.
outlined the
Fundraising.
Yeah, it's sort of like,
Fundraising.
yeah, we do have sort of like an event planning
Okay.
guide to say, this many weeks out you do this, this many
Okay.
weeks out you do that. Contact our office for this and we'll do this for you,
Okay,
that we can share.
all right, perfect. And to whom should I direct my
If you
email
want to
to
give
when
me, you can do it to me, khutto@marybaldwin.edu.
I'm sorry, spell your last name.
Sorry, Hutto. It's like Hutton without the N.
Got it.
marybaldwin.edu. And I do want to tell you all that I'm not getting some emails because if people are sending it to mbc.edu. It's now marybaldwin.edu. It's not being forwarded, so if you send things. So anybody, I'm sorry.
You had talked that some people had ideas of the whole regionalization of, since I think you said you're only a staff of 3. That was kind of also my frustration being in the DC area, and I know I've worked with you guys on putting on events, and once we, reached out to you, you guys were extremely helpful, and you ran the show, which was great, but the initial getting to that point was a little frustrating, because it was, who can I talk to in the DC area to put on an event? Like,
Yeah.
if there was like a core group, maybe, from the alumni board, hey, you're my DC rep, I'm gonna
Yeah.
reach out to you to put on an Apple Day event. And I think that would really help of having, they could do the social media for it, knowing who to reach out to based on your region would be.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about
We need
with
to fix
the,
that, you are correct, and that's
Yeah.
one of the things where we've talked about, one of the sign-up sheets going around is, so that way, if you do wanna do it, there are contacts, regional contacts, and then you guys can get together and work together on planning an event or a fundraiser or whatever it is your interest, or if you wanna start a book club in that area. And then, there is the planning guide, the event guide that you can use to go by, and they will work with you, and it tells you what you need to do and what you can expect from them to, and have them do to help you. So you are correct, that does need to be fixed, yes.
that's one of the things we're talking about.
Yeah.
Where to go to get the information to. I'm hearing that there's so many different places that people don't know where to go, and that's something that we need to correct. And we also need to make sure that we have by region what some listed people, I'm looking at you all, the names that we received today, and that your names are listed there as a contact for it.
Well, and I think on our end too, that you're consistently talking to the same person.
Yeah.
That you're not calling, door A and you're sitting door B, and then eventually you're, getting to your end point too. That we're all saying the same thing as well.
You're pretty good at that, and just for the record, my hat's off to you, because you will follow through.
Well, I think that we all partner in this too, and I'm sorry, my back is to Angela. But Kim and I plan most of the events together. I mean, we have to partner together. And Angela, thank goodness, is our computer person too. So we all have a third of this whole puzzle going at the same time. But what I was saying as far as Catherine was talking about, because I think there was a development component person too, brought into your last event. So you got all these people that they're talking to you, and then I'm wanting to get name tags of who came, so that's why this event guide is ever evolving piece. So we want a partner, and we want to know where the holes are, because your holes are our holes too.
So we have a question back here, and a really cute squirrel shirt, and I'm dying to know where you got it, you have to share.
I have no idea. I've had it for a really long time.
I was afraid you were gonna say that, but you have a question or a comment,
I
suggestion?
actually have an idea.
Fantastic.
Because we utilize student interns in my office for projects, and it sounds like you all are doing all you can, but you're a staff of 3. I totally get that. I work for the locality. We have no money, so you have to think outside the box. I think if you could tap into the resources you have here in the school and utilize student interns to do projects for you that could help build a database, because we've had them do that for us, that would really help you all to help the whole community together, and you get college credit for it too, so.
Sometimes the problem is finding reliable student interns.
Understand that. I'm a social work major, so field placement was the last half of my senior year. So that if you can tap into something like that with business or IT, I think that might really help you all
We're getting a new
significantly.
database too, which is, will be happening this summer, which hopefully will help us as well going forward too. So thank you.
No more 400.
That's pretty great. You had a suggestion, comment?
It's gone. Come back to me.
Any others?
Any other suggestions or things that you'd like to see us doing that hadn't happened? Or we do have a book club in Stanton, Richmond too. I'm giving the shout out because we have a couple of people that have been in the book club.
This, I'm Buell in 5, and this is something General Bissell used to do, bringing Buell alums back, and I don't know if the school has ever done it or not, but once or twice a year, he would bring back alums to talk to the core, what are we doing now, how did we get here, how did, we're coming from Mary Baldwin Buell, help us get to where we are. And I think the cadets really engaged with it. And I think that might be nice for the student body as a whole to see, because I never thought I'd end up in social work. I've got an English degree, I
Seeing a
think,
pathway.
right, I think it would be good for them to say, just because this is what you're looking at now, 10 years from now, is probably not what you're going to be doing.
What I loved about this afternoon, and particularly the fact that we've had 3 different groups come in and talk about this topic, is the fact that we're seeing common ideas, and that is one of those ideas. And one of the things that we talked about this morning was having a webpage or something where alums could go in and fill out and say, I'm interested in helping in this area. One of those being coming back and talking in classrooms, and this was my major, and this is my current profession, and this is my interest. So that is one of those common ideas that we are hearing. So we absolutely appreciate that. It's a great idea.
We did have, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say Dean Walker has a.
Oh, I was just gonna echo from the other side, from the faculty point of view, that would be great, and I know that, all you and Kim need is more things to do. But if the alumni office could coordinate that list, if Erin says, I never thought in a million years I was gonna be a social worker, and I would love to come talk to somebody about it, that would be a good resource for the faculty to have too, because otherwise, I'm sending emails to a few of my former students, and I hit the same ones up all the time, and they're like, I like you and everything, but there are limits how many times I can come to Stanton in a year. But, if I knew, or if I knew I could tell someone to tell someone that, if there were a more centralized place, I think that faculty, and also student groups on campus, I think, so. I think we do, it's not just the alums, I think there are people on campus too, who realize that there are ways in which our communication has not meshed as well as any of us would like. And, everybody gets busy and everybody lets a ball drop, but I think that, if we figure out as we go forward, we're all gonna try to be a little bit more intentional about this. And if we know, is it gonna be perfect? No, but at the very least, I can say, hey, Ann, is there anybody on your list who's, done an internship abroad, because I have some students in the Spencer Center who would love to hear from her, or something.
So that's what we're talking about, how we can do a community, sort of a community page, where alumni community page, where also professors can access it, student groups can access it, where you put your expertise.
And there are, and I see 1, 2, and 3, and I do want to follow up there. I see that there are probably two challenges, and hopefully Dean Walker, you can help us with this. A is going to be who's going to manage that database. The information can come in, but who's going to manage it? And because these women they are overworked, and this is just one more additional thing. And then who's going to be that contact person for, let's say we use the web form, so that's a contact point for the alumni. But then who are the faculty going to use as a contact to say, hey, I need to find alumni in these areas who would be willing? So you're raising your hand, Morgan?
It can be purely automated through the web.
Yeah.
It can be a faculty expert database.
Oh, so I'm gonna follow up with you then.
I'm glad
There we go.
Were you volunteering
There we
for
go.
that?
Is that what you do in my office? Because we have a faculty experts guide. Why can't we have a Alumni Experts Guide, where the faculty can turn in, and you guys could come to it too.
Fantastic, so I will be following up
Yep.
with you, all right.
I wanted to just say one thing. We have done this at reunions. Last reunion, we had a alumni panel where students were invited to talk to them about that very thing. So we have done in small scale.
Okay, so you thought of it?
I remember.
Excellent, let's hear it.
This might be more of a fundraising question, but do we still have the Baldwin, like, it's not phone-a-thon, that's not the right word, but.
Yeah.
Student callers.
Spencer Society, thank you, I cannot remember is that still happening? Because I know, in terms of like engagement with alumni, at least the first couple of years, that was my only engagement with alumni was the Spencer Society calling me up at my parents' house once a year and asking me for money. So I wanted to know if that, like, could we get the Spencer Society more involved in terms of?
So let me tell you what they did after this past reunion, what board members did after this last reunion that apparently worked out really well. Was after reunion, the board members received, and this is through Jules is our chair of our engagement committee. Through them, they got the list of all of the reunion attendees. We knew who on the board was willing to make phone calls. The list was distributed, and those board members called every single attendee, and all they did was ask, hey, how was reunion? Thank you so much for coming back, and that was it. So, and it was extremely well received on that. So, and I think that is something that we definitely do want to continue. There was no ask, there was no, hey, we need your help with anything. It was, thank you so much for coming to reunion. What did you think of it? We're so glad. And they said sometimes it was a minute or two conversation, and sometimes it was a 30-minute conversation and just talking, and that was it.
I think we could, adding on to that, I think we could do something in reverse in terms of the database of people who are in this major, did this major and now we're in this, but I think it could work the other way where students, maybe more over the phone, just, hey, a current student talking with somebody who's in that field, not just as a freshman coming into the school, but just as they're going through their program, kind of, maybe tips for dealing with how to deal with senior sen, like, what's the transition from
A mentor.
college, more mentorship, because we have that a little bit with capstone, but other than that, not so much.
Absolutely, thank you. So we had two hands back here, yes.
Gonna say,
Go for it.
you've actually now jump-started my original raising of my hand, which was, I've been having conversations with two separate groups of alumni who are talking about mentoring programs and wanting to start a mentoring program. In particular, I will tell you that PEG alums are right now very worried about the PEG program, and so taking some really significant steps to try to create our own mentoring program. There are individuals who have approached the PEG staff and basically been rebuffed and told, oh, alumni office does that, talk to them. So in my experience, Alumni does not have a mentoring program, so whichever the answer is, I think an alum mentoring program is a fantastic idea. I will tell you, my law school does what's called a senior partner system, and alums can voluntarily, you go in, you fill out the form, this is the year I graduated, this is what law I practice, this is the geographic region, this is my personal interests in the law, this is my personal interests outside the law. And they create a huge binder, and the first week of your first year of law school, you get to flip through the binder and say, I like this person. You turn in the form, they send each other your email addresses, and that's your junior partner, senior partner for the beginning of law school. And it's anything from, I see you practice criminal law, I'm thinking about doing that, should I do it, do you have any advice? Or I see that you also came to law school from Virginia from Alaska, and how the heck did you live here? Or anything, they do enough information that you can pick an alum who meets your interests. And I think Mary Baldwin has such a diverse field of alumni that something like that could absolutely work. I'm just thinking about my own life. I'm sure there's somebody who could say, oh, you were a PEG, I want to talk to you. Likewise, there's somebody who could say, oh, you went to law school, please God tell me how to go to law school. Oh, you changed legal focus halfway through your career, tell me about that. I think there's this database of alums, A, for a mentoring role, and then B, just for what we've been talking about here. When I was at Baldwin, I worked on the literary magazine. I would have loved to have a database where I said, hey, this alum is in publishing, we don't know what we're doing, let's send them an email and say, hey, we're publishing the literary magazine, do you have any advice? I know of no alum who would be mad about getting that email. Some will respond and some won't, but I don't know of any alumni of this school who would take offense to being contacted by a student with that kind of question.
And I think that if the directory worked the way it should, that would be what you're talking about there, where you can designate whether you want to be contacted and students have access to it with password protected.
Yes.
Kelly?
My question is about class officers. So each class should have officers, that, and what is the connection that your office has with those people? And for situations like this, if there's a student that has a specific question or needs mentorship or really anything, would there be a way to utilize that network of people to get that information to the specific classes? And is that being done at all now?
It's not really being done now. I think it has in the past only for my understanding and my knowledge from the past. I say speak up if you want to, Ann, but it's been utilized class leadership for things like reunions, inviting back and being involved in the planning process. But beyond that, and maybe that's something we need to look at, is how do we utilize that? It has been, class leaders work with class notes, getting information for our online class notes, so in that way they've been utilized too. But you're suggesting that might be a good resource for us going forward for contacting those classes to get involved.
I have to say, I think the class leadership program has somewhat ebbed.
Yes.
Yes,
It
has.
has
Absolutely.
a major ebb.
And it depends on the class too.
Right.
because
Well,
our
that's-
classes,
Because there's no purpose for them. You know, there
Right.
is a title,
Right,
but
right.
no involvement.
And I think it's become pretty obvious to me, only because of my history here too, that when my job was just to plan reunion, or homecoming as it was called then, I every day worked with a class, well, classes. So I mean, it was sort of like I was the mother of all of the reunion classes, and we were talking all the time. And right now, that's not happening because of planning events, working on other projects, so it's not an excuse, it's just a reality, and it's become very obvious to me, which I have to say kind of bothers me, because I loved working with reunion classes, because it kind of felt like I had my finger on the pulse of what the classes wanted to do, and not finding out, today that you're not getting the services that you want or that you need. And also, I said to, I can't remember her name, just like that on really wonderful young woman from the class of 2005. I said, we need to go back and look at the class leaders and find out, are you still interested in being a class leader too? When we have those class meetings.
Our class every year has that post on Facebook. Do you still, Amy Galvin, want to be president? And she says, yes, I do. And then they go through and they're like, so-and-so, you want to be treasurer? And they ask me, Celie, you want to be secretary? And I'm like, why the hell not? I don't have to do anything because I get no information.
I'll take, my class was not fully staffed in those positions when we graduated and never has been since.
yeah.
We didn't get it until
Ours
our
was
5 year. At our 5 year,
Our
we
tenure-
finally said, oh God, maybe we should figure
Our
out
tenure is next
officers.
year. The officers have not contacted the class in 4 years, maybe 5, since last reunion.
Yeah, and I think that's the case that we're
There
finding
has
out
to be
now.
expectations,
Yeah.
Right.
and that has to be set when they take on that role, or as they go from class leadership to, graduate, when they're on campus versus off campus graduation. And that's something that maybe we need to look at. But you have to tell people what to expect and what, amount of time it's gonna take to be in that role. Sort of like job descriptions almost, and see if people wanna do it.
Well, and we need to follow through too, which we're finding out that there have been a lot of changes and a lot of different things, and are you this or done that sort of thing too. And I think we just need to regroup with all of the classes and just say, at one time in your life, you wanted to be this. Are you still that, or are you still interested in being that? And get our list.
And set the expectations
Yes,
that if
set
you're
the
going to do
expectations,
this,
right.
then your class
Exactly.
is expecting you to follow through with that. And
Right.
if not, that's okay, but tell us
Right.
so that we can find somebody in the class who is willing to step up and meet those expectations.
And that's what I was thinking too, was if we can do that and you have those contacts and you have a student that comes forward to your office and says, I'm interested in going to law school, are there any alumni who are
I
attorneys?
actually just had that in Houston, if
Then you
anybody
can
knows anybody in Houston that's a law.
Send an email to, that blast to the president or
Lieberman's on your
whoever.
board and she's in Houston.
So that would be,
She's in Dallas.
Yeah, she's Dallas.
A couple other things that came to mind, just just don't want to forget to tell you this too. If you have any interest in serving on alumni board, please self-nominate, or if you recommend somebody to be on the alumni board, we are looking for nominations always, so if you would know to do that, it's on our website as well. And also for alumni awards, we do this every year at reunions, and we honor some alumni for outstanding, service. So if you could also nominate people for the awards, we'd also like you to be involved in doing that.
On your website, does it have a list of what alumni board requirements are? Like, what is the time commitment? How often we meet? What, maybe something like, what am I signing up for? What am I volunteering for?
And I can tell you those conversations do happen one-on-one, but if you would like to know now, and we've got 5 minutes, I'm happy to at least share that here. If you would like to. Fantastic. Yay! So a board term is a 3-year term, okay? And while there's no real term limits, we have found that people usually serve about 2 or 3 terms when they hit that 3rd term. They know it's time for fresh blood and new ideas. If you are just a board member at large, the meetings are twice a year. They are here back in Stanton. You will meet in October, in the fall and the spring. So October and April, or this year we're meeting in March because we're meeting prior to the all-class reunion. They are weekend meetings, Saturday, Sunday, and that was a change from several years ago, so that way people didn't have to take time off from work to come to meetings. So this way, and they usually go like noon to noon, so that way if you want to travel in the morning, or if you want to travel Friday night, you've got time in the morning to relax. There is some time commitment that you will serve on a committee. We have 3 committees, and we will be looking to see if that needs to change, or if we need to build subcommittees out of what we're hearing from the summit. That will change. But there's a fundraising committee. That fundraising committee only fundraises amongst our board. Okay, so this is the committee that is charged with reaching out to our board members for fundraising. There's a nominating committee that that brings forward the slate for new members and also for the awardees every year. And now there's an alumni engagement committee. And again, we will be talking about, what's the purpose of this committee? I think the purpose needs to stay, but how does this committee work going forward, okay? There is a commitment form. You give of your time, your talent, and your money. No, there's not a dollar limit. Okay, but we just do ask, and we have prided ourselves on having 100% participation in annual fund unrestricted giving, and then we have quite a few board members who have a cause that is near and dear to them and that they choose to also give to there. But again, there's no minimum, it's just participation that we shoot for. So your time twice a year, plus there is some committee work in between. And that's usually handled through conference call and email. Your talent, sharing your talents and what you have to bring back, and your treasure. So, but that's what that is.
Will you update us, Teresa, on some of the alumni board initiatives right now? You don't have to go into minute detail, but I think it's important. I mean, for anybody that's thinking about the board, what are some things that you all are working on, like the admissions committee?
So quite honestly, the first one that we did, and is still kind of going on, was the Bravo program. We were the pilot group for Bravo, and that has now been released and gone full online. Now, ever since November, and with what has happened, we completely halted, and we turned all of our focus to this and into here. And so this, we have been working extremely long hours on this summit, and with what is going on and what information gets shared, breakout sessions, what you guys are looking for. And tomorrow there is an executive committee meeting tomorrow, and they will be recapping everything and our observations and what we have learned, and then looking and taking a very hard look at, do we need to make changes internally amongst our board, and what we need to do now to move forward to take all of these great ideas, because we are the liaison between the college and all of y'all, the association. And so that's what we're going to be doing. So it's a hard look. Yes.
One question, one comment. My question is, in terms of the fundraising committee, why is it fundraising just among board members? I guess I'm not understanding that part of it.
Right now, we leave the fundraising outside with the alums, we leave that to the college because they are the ones who, that is their specialty, that's what they do. Keep in mind that a lot of us were not fundraisers, it's not. Not to say we have not helped in writing thank you notes and saying thank you, we have done that. One other thing that we have done, is we have done, we've written notes to students who have recently graduated. We have written notes to prospective students saying, we're so excited, thank you, come on campus. We do help out with reunion, and when you guys need help, we come on campus and say, okay, what does it need? Do we need to stuff folders or do something like that? So we do try and help there too, but it's, right now, that is historically coming up, that is just what we've done, what our role is. Whether or not that changes, again, fundraising, making an ask for money is a very personal and it's a very sensitive subject. So the board members know it's expected and they know that somebody from the fundraising committee will be contacting them. So it's not as touchy, but we leave that to the college.
Okay. And then my point was, I guess, to kind of go forward from the summit, should we make the summit maybe an annual thing or every 2 years?
I had that idea too. Wouldn't it be great to have an annual alumni summit? I don't know, because again, you're getting back to staffing and we're just going to have to see. It would be a great thing if you could have an annual alumni engagement summit, but keeping in mind they are planning so many other events, I don't know. That's my best answer right now, or do you make it part of reunion?
That's what they brought up in fundraising,
Right.
is to bring the component in and do small groups that people have,
I think that's a great idea.
that they have the option to choose to go to.
That's a really good
Thank
idea
you.
for homecoming.
Thank you, so there you go,
They're already
you have the
here.
idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I wanted to also say one other one is that was brought up, and I had this thought, and they do this at other universities as well, as like alumni career webinars or alumni webinars, where how to sell, how to buy your first house, how to write your, how to be an author, write your first book, how to, work in nonprofit, how to be successful in whatever career. So that's something else that we're talking about, where students could view it as well, could be recorded, put on the website. Alumni could watch it as well as students, and I think that's something that would be good to try here as well.
So I know we've got one more and I hate to cut time, but we are getting 3:45 and I do want everybody to come back to Francis so that we can continue the discussion on your ideas and continue sharing your ideas, because we're going to do that, but we're going to do it as a large group. So.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
How many people are on the alumni board?
It varies. There can be no minimum, the minimum number is 20, and I believe the maximum is, I believe it's 32.
How many at-large positions do you have currently available? Or not, what would be other than at-large?
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not quite understanding how.
I'm sorry, you said, you described the at-large position and what it would require. How many vacant at-large positions do you currently have?
Currently, I am looking to fill 3.
Okay.
And that's just, and right now, because they had to step down due to other commitments with jobs, and I know we have one that just recently moved and and another one's taken on more work. More for jobs. So I appoint them the way this has worked. So I've got an open term that ends in 17, 18, and 18. I appoint because it is a midterm, and then the executive committee will ratify that, and then it will go before the full board for a vote. And then from there, and all they are doing will be fulfilling those terms. So that's where I am right now, because I do know I am currently at a minimum of 20 board members, and I'm not comfortable with that. So I am reaching out, and I've made some connections here, and I will be reaching out to some people next week. I'm hoping to get those. Okay.
Can I say something real quick? Just
Yes.
real quick. I want to take the time, because I think it's important, to thank Angela, Ann, and Kim for their hard work, their dedication. their commitment, doing more with less. They have a hard job. But I especially want to direct this to Ann, because we are very blessed and very fortunate, I think, that we have somebody like Ann who has been part of the alumni office for over 25 years, has given her life, herself, her passion, her compassion. She has given everything to Mary Baldwin and to us. And I don't think she gets thanked enough. And I'm not sure that when I was in that position that I thanked you enough. So I just want to say, no, but I'm serious about this, Ann. But I'm serious. I could have never done what I did without you. I could have never done what I did with these women and outside of this room we could have never done it without you. So from the bottom of my heart, as an alum, as a friend, and as somebody who cherishes you, I just thank you. I thank you for who you are.
Closing, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for taking your time out to come here today, and thank you so much for coming to this session. I hope, again, follow me over to Francis, because I'm going to be running out of here really fast. It's a little warm.